Hey guys, it's Rob here. After putting it off for a long time, I'm finally covering Danvers, Massachusetts. It's quite the well documented location, so we've got a lot to talk about with it, including a stage type that was only in a handful of locations. We'll get into that later though. As usual, I've gathered information from multiple different sources, which I'll be linking in the description. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as in the next video, we'll be going over a location that had one of the rarest cabaret acts. Anyways, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the history of Chuck E. Cheese in Danvers, Massachusetts. The 139 Endicott Street location opened on April 24th, 1983 as a Pizza Time theater, opening with a balcony stage. We have an article from April of that year which tells us that they were to open in the first week of May, which was likely a grand opening date, as opposed to its original opening date. And it also gives us some other details, such as the fact that the location was 12,000 square feet, employed between 80 and 100 people, featured Cheesy Street, which was only installed in a handful of locations, and opened with Madame Oink as their guest star, as can be seen in this photo from the article. We can also see their Chuck walk around here as well, being the standard one during this time. They also opened with the King as their lounge act, and had a cabaret act as well, being BB Bubbles, which is incredibly unique, as only a handful of stores had her. Here's an undated photo of what theirs looked like. They were a franchise store under Tom Saltzman's Pizza Time Partners Limited. They also opened with the 1981 remodel, which standardized the aesthetics of stores. A photo from July of 1983 shows off Cheesy Street, alongside their Chuck and Munch walkarounds, which were both standard. By September of 1983, the location would receive Helen as their permanent guest star, as every other location would. We have a photo of this from February of 1984, where we can tell based on the backdrop that they had received her by this point. It's also the only photo we currently have of Danvers' balcony stage. In January of 1985, Danvers would send their balcony stage to the Fall River store in Massachusetts and would receive a family album stage. This is confirmed with an ad from January 31st, 1985, where it mentions the family album stage they had. They would also receive more kiddie rides during this time. The photo was also featured in a newspaper in February of that year, where we get to see part of the stage, which I'll get into in a bit. First, we have a couple of undated photos of them, starting with this one, which shows them off their stage. I'm not sure whether this was taken before or after they were removed, but it is an interesting photo nonetheless. The second shows off their stage setup, which unlike the previous one I've covered, is static and against a wall, and looks more like a traditional stage setup, with each of the characters on their own platform. We also have undated footage of the stage, which shows it to be in great shape, with no issues I can see. It's also in this footage where we get the names of the characters that Danvers gave them, those being Randy for the guitar player, Nadine for the piano player, and TJ for the bass player. That same year, the location would remove BB Bubbles. In 1986, they would remove the cabaret room in order to expand the Fantasy Forest. On February 2nd, 1987, Danvers would be sold to corporate alongside Manchester and Newington, New Hampshire. In March of 1988, the location would replace their family album with a rocker stage, with a few photos from around that time showing us what it looked like. This photo shows the center of the stage, which just looks like a typical rocker stage, though the characters do appear to have Pizza Time Theater name tags, which is neat. Another one shows Chuck without his mask on, which is a rare sight to see in location photos, so it's definitely a cool thing to see here. We also get a look at their control system, which you rarely ever get to see location documentation of, so it's another unique thing to see. We also get footage of the entire store from June of 1989, which gives us a look at their exterior, which uses the Chuck E. Cheese cursive text, red awnings, and marquees, giving the store a pretty unique look similar to Newington's exterior. We also get a look at the game room, Cheesy Street again, their lounge room with the King, though we don't get to see him perform here, their tech room, which you never get to see especially in old footage like this, and their showroom, where we get brief footage of their bots performing. They look to be in good shape, from the little I can see here. We have multiple undated photos that show off their fantasy forest, with their Chuck walk around being here as well. The main hall, where we see their Chuck walk around again, and Cheesy Street in the background, and the King. In summer of 1989, Danvers received the 1986 remodel, painting all of the walls white, adding colored checkers, adding newer decor to replace older decor, adding windows to the showroom walls, and replacing the old play areas with a ball crawl, which also included the removal of Cheesy Street. During this time, the King would be sent to the Newington, New Hampshire location, with Danvers receiving Newington's Beach Bowsers. We get two pieces of footage showing this off, with the first showing the location undergoing the 1986 remodel, which is not something I think I've ever seen before, and is an awesome thing to get to see documented. We can see that the ball crawl here isn't fully assembled yet, alongside other incomplete elements, and also see the beach Bowsers, which look to be in good shape, with no issues I can see. The rocker stage also appears to still be in good shape. Footage from a couple of days later shows the remodel to be mostly complete. Footage from 1991 shows off the rocker stage again, which still looks to be in pretty good shape, though Jasper's arms don't appear to be working here. Notably, he's wearing a dark blue shirt with white spots, which I haven't seen before. In summer of 1993, the location received an early version of the Operation Thumbchuck remodel, replacing some older decor for newer decor, and removing the beach Bowsers. They would also replace the rocker stage with a 2-stage around this time. We can see this in footage from 1995, where one of the shelves is visible. We also get to see their 2-stage for the first time here, where it looks to be in great shape, with no issues I can see. We also get to see their Chuck walk around, being the 90s head in full tux attire. In the late 90s, the location received the finalized version of the Operation Thumbchuck remodel, receiving a Thumbchuck exterior, replacing older decor for newer decor, removing the colored checkers, and adding the sky tubes. In 2001, Danvers would enter a district-wide contest for the best training video, to be used for the local locations. This footage only gives us a look at their kitchen area, though considering this wasn't even seen before, this is at least somewhat interesting to see. They would end up winning this contest. In 2002, Danvers would celebrate Chuck E. Cheese's 25th anniversary, decorating the stage for the occasion and putting Chuck back in older attire, wearing the Pizza Time Theater checkered vest with a party hat. Jasper was the only other one to wear a party hat, and the stage would be decorated with streamers, balloons, and happy birthday signs. This photo also shows off a large portion of the showroom. We have a couple of other photos showing off other customizations the stage received, including a Christmas theme, with the characters and stage decked out in Christmas theming, and an American theme, with some light decorations such as American flags. 2002 footage gives us another look at the 2-stage, where it looks to be in pretty good shape, with the only issue I can see being that Helen's eyelids don't move all the way down. Chuck also is still in his tux attire by this point. In 2004, the first Cheats Vention was hosted at Danvers, which we have footage of, giving us a look at multiple aspects of the store, such as the counter areas, the showroom, and the stage, which is in great shape here, with no issues I can see. Chuck was also in full Cool Chuck attire by this point. We also get to see what I'm assuming is their Chuck walk around, being the 90s head in fully blue attire. Another thing of note is that Aaron Fector also showed up as a surprise guest at this event, which likely makes this one of the only locations that he's ever visited. They would also host the second Cheese Vention here in 2005. Footage from that same year gives us a look at the stage again, which is still in mostly good shape, but the only issue I can see being that Pasquale's head turn doesn't work. We have a couple of undated photos from some point in the early to mid 2000s, with the first being in the early 2000s, giving us a look at their Chuck, Jasper, and Helen walkarounds. The second one is the photo of their Operation Thumbchuck exterior, which is mostly standard, though they still had the word pizza up, which makes it unique for having kept it. Between 2007 and 2008, Danvers would receive the 2005 update to the Cool Chuck reconfiguration, receiving an Avenger Chuck exterior, painting some of the walls purple, adding newer decor to replace the older decor, and tearing down the showroom walls and balcony seating. 2011 footage shows off the stage again, where it's still in fairly good shape, with the only issues I can see being that neither of Jasper's arms appear to work. 2013 footage shows the stage to be in fully working shape again, with no issues I can see. Chuck was also in full Avenger attire by this point. Cheese Vention X, the final one, would also be hosted here that same year. 2015 footage shows the stage to still be in the same shape as far as I can tell, with the stage and characters decorated with Christmas attire. Chuck also no longer had his cap on by this point. 2016 footage shows the stage to still be in pretty good shape, though Pasquale's left eyelid doesn't work, and Jasper's eyelids are slightly misaligned. 2017 footage shows it to be back in good shape, with no issues I can see. 2018 footage shows the stage to still be in the same good shape, and we also see at the beginning that the curtains still work, though they aren't actually programmed, of course. 2019 footage shows more of the same, with the only notable difference being that the curtains had been removed by this point. The latest footage of Danvers' show that I could find comes from January of 2020, where the stage is still in mostly good shape, with the only real issue I can see being that Pasquale's left arm is having some issues moving. On April 15th, 2020, Danvers would close, as a result of the lease expiring. In 2021, the store would become MB Spirits, which appears to be its own alcohol area of Market Basket, which is right beside the building. The store remains like this as of November of 2025. As for the fate of the bots, let's go over each of them. After Danvers' first set of Cyberamics was sent to Fall River, they would become a different show when that location turned into a separate family entertainment center. I don't know anything about this, but as far as I'm aware, it's unknown what happened to those bots after it closed. The King's fate is also unknown after it was removed from Newington. It's unknown exactly what happened to BB's mechanism, though some of her cosmetics would be saved to make a replica of her, which was done by Shiny Happy Jen. The fate of the family album and Beach Bowsers is also unknown. As for the second set of Cyberamics, Helen and Munch would end up with Rockafire Moon, who has restored them and made them a part of his Cyberamic stage setup. Chuck belongs to Animatronics Clay Guy on Instagram, who has reverted him to his Pizza Time Theater look. It's not confirmed what happened to Jasper or Pasquale, though it's likely they were saved given the other three have been. In conclusion, Danvers was an incredible location to go over, and as expected, was pretty well documented throughout its history, especially the Pizza Time Theater era, which is commonly the least documented portion of many locations. Of course, being home to one of a few family albums at one point, and receiving an early version of the Operation Thumbchuck remodel, also makes this location unique even aside from its documentation. Normally I don't do this, but I want to give a shout out to Jen and Jay Hubbard for all the info and data they've shared over the years of this location. It would not hold the title of the most well documented location without it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm happy I finally got around to covering this location, and hope I've done it justice with this video. My next video is going to be going over the history of Shoba's Pizza Place and Chuck E. Cheese in Citrus Heights, California, with this area being home to one of two Cabaret Helens, though it also was home to one of the first Pizza Time theaters. If you're interested in seeing that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you're notified when it drops. If you want to find me elsewhere, I've got an Instagram page linked in the description down below. That's going to do it for now though, so God bless, and I hope you all have a blessed day.